Hey guys, now the subject of meditation can be quite interesting. It is something that is recommended everywhere you go. You find plenty of YouTube videos about it. Your friends might have said, hey, you need to meditate, you're kind of stressed out. Or you have seen a doctor and he's told you the same thing, or somebody who's involved with doing that and practicing it, it says, this feels great, you ought to try it, you ought to do it, you ought to come with me and let's really get involved with this. And so I kind of wanted to talk about it today. I'm not going to poo-poo on it. I'm not going to say bad things about it. I'm just going to give you my opinion and then tell you why I believe what I believe and what my answer to all of this is. Now, meditation is talked about in terms kind of like how I've just mentioned. You know, you probably have some friends who've recommended it to you, who may be doing it themselves and says, hey, you really ought to do this with me. You might be really stressed out, and you're looking for some way to relieve that, or you might be bored. But usually when I hear about meditation in the conventional ways it's spoken of, it's always when, and not always, but a lot of times, I'm going to say most of the time, it's spoken about in right at that point when someone has exhausted all the other avenues. You know, they've worked out, they've dieted, they're going into they're thinking about trying meditation because, well, hey, I've tried everything else and it's not enough. I need to try something else. Well, I haven't meditated yet. Everybody keeps talking about it. I keep getting suggested to do it. So why not? And so people are looking, I think the reason, and it's just my thoughts, just my opinion, but I think a lot of people approach meditation because they're looking for some kind of inner peace, some kind of answer or solution to the turmoil that they might be going through, or to, some answer, some relief from the stress that they're experiencing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting any of that. And I think that that's just normal. That's just natural to want that. And so that's usually how I experience it in my world. That's usually how I see it. Now, I'm very familiar with meditation. I know a lot about it because I've grown up around people who have had different thoughts and different perspectives on it, and I was in the martial arts for quite a long time, and that's a culture that highly promotes it. But I was asked the other day, do you meditate? And my answer to that is yes and no. And that might seem like a strange answer because it seems like it would be a pretty cut and dry one. Well, the reason why I answer it yes and no is I do not practice meditation in the most commonly understood way of how meditation is talked about, which is Eastern philosophy, which is the Eastern approach to meditation. And so here's what I mean by it. Eastern meditation, it largely focuses on getting you to empty your mind. Okay, it's all about emptying your mind and just letting everything out, letting everything go. And I understand that there's a dopamine effect to that. I'm not saying to a degree that doesn't work. I do believe it does. I just don't believe it has. I think a lot of it's a placebo effect. I also believe a lot of it is just a very temporary salve. It's just like a Band-Aid. Now, people who are really into this, are going to highly disagree with me, because after all, they're kind of committed. They've gotten into something and they're practicing it, and no one likes to be told they're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is how I see it. And so I don't do it. I don't practice that kind of meditation, that being one of the reasons. I just have a hard time believing anybody could really possibly empty their mind all the way. And the evidence of this is behind the fact that that if you look at the people who are really heavily into this, you'll understand that there's techniques and there's I say tricks, but I guess it all kind of gets clumped into a technique on how to do it. Different ways you got to think. these different mind tricks you got to play to do it. And I'm talking about the people who are heavily into it, not just your average Joe and somebody who's just starting out and who does a little bit of it here and there. And I'm like I don't know what you call these people that who don't really know a lot about but try to practice it. That's what I'm talking about. But the people who are really heavily into it, they're going to disagree with me. And but I don't like that approach, because I don't think you can possibly totally empty your mind. Now, going beyond that, the kind of the apex behind Eastern meditation is to get to the point where you become one with the universe. Now, there's dopamine effects that go along with the techniques in meditating like you do. You do feel a certain way. It's a lot about sensory perception. It's a lot about how you feel when you're done doing it. And that's why I say a lot of it's temporary. Your feelings come and go. You can do a lot of things to change the way your senses perceive something. But in the end, the whole aim behind a lot of it is to become one with the universe. And quite frankly, I just don't believe in that. Now, I take a different approach. I do meditate. Here's how I meditate. Rather than emptying my mind, I fill my mind. Much like Eastern meditation, where you set aside time to be quiet and to either be by yourself or be in a peaceful surrounding, peaceful environment, you want to do the same thing. You want to do the same thing with the kind of meditation I'm talking about, to fill your mind. I do that through reading good books, and just taking in good information, good positive information, things that answer questions to things I have in my mind. And I think that's what a person should do. I think that's practical. I think it's useful. I think it's productive. And I think it does more to bring a sense of calmness and peace in your life than emptying your mind. And part of this is because I am a Christian. And if I really wanted to take it to, if I really want to go further on down the road, which I am going to just a little bit, is because I understand what Christian meditation is. And Christian meditation is about setting yourself free. That Jesus said, "The truth shall set you free." I meditate upon the truth, and I believe the truth to be in Scripture. Now, you can disagree with me if you want. That's fine. It's okay. I'll still call you friend. I don't mind. I'm not trying to talk anybody into this or convince anybody of anything. It's just simply what I believe. So, if you read Scripture, you understand in the book of Proverbs and all throughout Scripture that seeking wisdom and seeking understanding is what brings peace. That's what brings peace, and that's what Eastern meditation is trying to do, essentially. I'm not going to harp on them. I think to some degree they achieve some level of that, but it's not the kind of peace and it's not the kind of freedom that you get in exploring and seeking out truth and understanding. And I believe it to be the truth from the ultimate source, who is the truth. But that's what I believe. That's how I meditate. That's where I fill my mind rather than emptying it. And so that's where I stand on the issue. And I hope that's helped. I hope it's meant something to you. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me, and I will be glad to answer. And if you have thought about it, you should try it yourself. You don't have to pick up a Bible if you don't believe what I believe. You can just pick up some good books. Set aside some time by yourself every day, if you can do that, and fill your mind. Now, you may be finding yourself in a position where you can't get by yourself, especially if you're a parent or if you're a mother who, I mean, it can be really difficult. You can meditate all day. In fact, Scripture even talks about meditating upon these things all day long. Now, as far as emptying your mind goes, I think there are people who walk around all day long with an empty head. And I'm sure you probably know some people like that too. But give it some thought. Give it a try. Instead of emptying your mind out and not confronting your thoughts, why not commit yourself to dwelling upon your thoughts and to contemplating God And instead of focusing on becoming one with the universe, you focus on the creator of the universe. All right? That's just what I think. That's my 2 cents. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great night. Bye-bye.